Hi, and welcome to Why Not with Janice, and I'm Janice, the show that's helping others to reach their goal, to move from ordinary to extraordinary. And today's topic is marriage. This is part 3. We've had a couple other couples on the show talking about longevity of marriage. And today I have a wonderful special guest, a wonderful couple, been married on 21 plus years. Let me welcome my guests, Rhonda and Mark Burlison. How are you?
Good.
Good, Janice. Thank you.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit. First, let's start off with how'd you guys met? The basics.
We met in church.
Wow.
Yes. I actually went to church with a friend. I'd never been to this church before. Mark was on stage playing drums, and I had just recently gone through a divorce. I walked in, and I just felt like God said, "You're going to marry that man playing the drums." And I was like, yeah, okay, right. But I felt it so strongly that I told my friend that I went with. And then I called my mother and told her.
Wow.
And it progressed. It took, I don't know, it took several months because
I was going to ask, when did he get in on that?
You know what? I think people, probably because he was the most eligible bachelor at the church, I think people probably were like, okay, well, you know, there's another single lady here. You might want to check it out. But I don't know that he was, I don't know. He didn't have the same love at first sight, not love at first sight, but, you know, he didn't know like I knew. I don't think. I don't know. I knew. I knew. And then, yeah, when it progressed, and yeah, here we are.
And I know you guys like fishing, so you just caught him and you reeled him in.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I did let him chase me, though.
Oh, okay. So, how soon, Mark, was it afterwards that she actually mentioned to you, or did you notice her after all?
Well, it was a very small church, so, you know, anybody that comes in, we noticed right away. So, but an eligible female, yes, I noticed her right away. So, yeah, and I was at that point in my life where I was definitely looking. So, yeah, I noticed her right away. I didn't get the precise word from the Lord like she did about marrying her, but you know, she was on my radar screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you said you were divorced already, correct? Now, Mark, was this your first marriage?
This is my third marriage. Yeah.
Mine too.
Just tell you the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you expecting number 3 to walk in the door at church like that?
Well, yeah. You know, I can only tell you, she can share with you a little about her story, but my story is I was coming out of 20 years of alcohol and drug addiction. So my life had finally made a turn, you know, to all the things that I had missed out in life in 20 years. So I had 2 other marriages that had failed miserably in my addictions. So this was a really positive thing for me. So, you know, it just was the first time in sobriety that I had a choice, and so it was a really cool thing, and I was very, very excited, to say the least. Yes.
So third time's a charm like mine.
I love your transparency.
Third time was definitely the charm. But I guess the worst is third time you're out, right? So, you brought the spark in his life, it sounds like, and made him happy again, right? Okay. So, how long was it that you dated? Did he court you? Because I know the other 2 couples I had, it was a big courtship.
Ours was quick. I think probably, what, less than a year.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Less than a year.
Yeah.
So you knew.
Yes, we did.
For my husband, I was 1 year, 365 days later, we got married. Now, when I asked other couples, like, did you, obviously, Did you interact with God and talk to God about this being the next and best thing for you?
Yes. So I had dated a little bit, but I don't know, dating when you've been married before and when you're older, it's tough. And I had finally sat down. I had a 2-year-old little boy, and I just sat down and wrote out a list, and I gave it to God, and I said, this is what I want in a man, and I am not going to date until I have this exact description. And then he ended up, and I didn't know, like when I knew that I was going to marry him, I didn't know that he was everything on that list.
Everything on the list.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Everything.
I wish we had that expression on camera.
I was the most shocked person in the room when she says that, because it's like I said, I think God just had mercy on me. Finally the third time, she has got such specific words and guidance in the whole thing. He obviously knew what he was doing, because I had failed so miserably in the past that I think it was God's grace, and Rhonda, she had a more specific word, and she knew what she wanted, and so I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful today that he worked it all out, because I really think God's hand was in it, obviously.
So you didn't have a list ready of everything you were looking for?
No. Well, Rhonda is 12 years younger than me, so.
Oh, okay. I'm 10 years younger than my husband.
Oh, there you go. So when you're talking about a man with a woman that's 12 years younger than you, that's what man's ego would not be stroked a little bit, in the big stream of things, so. My goodness, she was young, beautiful, and there was nothing there that, and we met in church. This had to be God, So every woman I'd met in the past had been in a bar. So so I was, like I said, I was really excited, and she had Nathan, who was like 3.5 when we met, from her previous marriage, and I had wanted a family. That was the thing that it was just, everything that was missing in my life. And
so you didn't have children prior?
No. So I have no kids, and so here it is. She's 28. She's got a 3.5-year-old son, and it was like, oh God, this is it, man. This is a setup.
Heaven.
Yeah, really.
Heaven and earth.
Sure.
And Nate took to him right away. As soon as we told Nathan that we were getting married, he looked at Mark and said, "Does this mean I get to call you Dad?"
Oh, wow.
And it was so great. It was perfect.
So your family was accepting, especially your son. Was that difficult at all, or just blending the family? So we know this was God, because it was easy to blend.
It was.
And your dad. Now, do you have kids together now, or?
We do. We have a daughter, Tori. She's not nearly as easy as Nathan was.
Yeah, don't let her see the show.
She has probably been our biggest struggle.
Yes.
We love her. Oh, we love her. Don't get me wrong. She's great. She's full of personality. She is perfect, but she is headstrong, and she has really been.
And we try to keep it in perspective, because we both are. When we were young, we were kind of a mess each. As we talk about it between the two of us. At that age, you're not always making all the best decisions in life. So you got to try to keep it in perspective, is what we try to do.
Right.
And my drug addiction started in my teens, so you can only imagine what my teenage, and we really don't have that issue with her. So we're blessed.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, do you also recommend that people make a list out of what they're looking for? No, I've heard that.
Yeah,
I
really.
actually made a list.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't even know why I did it. I think probably because I was tired of the dating scene, and if you know what you want and you write it out and you just give it to God and say, this is what I'm expecting you to do for me, I think then you have a little bit less stress in the dating area, because now you're just trusting God to find that person and you don't have to go searching.
Oh, okay. Now, was it easier for the two of you since you went to church together to like blend religion in the family and communicate better? Did that play a factor?
I think it was, you know, we were on the same page, you know, because we went to the same church, and I thought it was a contributing factor, I think, to us, you know, blending religion and everything. She'd come out of a Baptist background, I think, and this was more of a non-denominational type of a setting, but yeah, it was really good, I thought.
Do you guys also have like different ways to communicate or keep strife down in the household? A way to work together?
Yeah,
Any
I
tips or anything?
stay on my face in my study. I pray every day. That's how I keep strife down in our house.
He does. He's not kidding. Every morning at 4:30.
Yeah, it's you know, and I'm just being transparent with you. We've you know, it started out rosy, but you know, it was a struggle. You know, we were struggling. I mean, I was to get into a family situation at 36, 37 years old, and coming out of addictions. My goodness, you know, we were challenged, to say the least. But yeah.
One good thing about him, though, is I'm probably more of a hard head when we have an argument. And he's very quick to start joking and, you know, to try to bring us out of it and make light of the situation. I'm a little probably more serious than he is.
Yeah.
So that opposite at least works out?
It does. It
Yep.
does. It brings it, you know, instead of escalating it, it de-escalates. So.
So that's a good method. Do you guys have time that, I know some couples, Friday night at 7 o'clock, we're going to sit down and talk about issues and topics, or just deal with it when it happens? Is that better?
I don't even know if we have structure on that. I think when things happen, it's just like, time out, let's talk.
Talk now.
You know, one of the things we do on a regular basis, and we both enjoy this, is she'll get at one end of the bed and I'll get at the other end, and we'll rub calves, and we'll talk, and it's, even if the conversation isn't good, that is very stimulating on your calves if you ever try it. And it's really a relaxing time, and then sometimes we share about our day together, and we'll talk. So we, you know, and we've gotten better at that. I think as a couple you start to grow, and it makes the relationship just a lot better. And you don't have, you know, our kids are growing up, and so we have a little more time to ourselves. So.
Are you empty nesters?
Well, we were, but Tori moved back in with her daughter, so.
Okay. You're grandparents.
Yes, we
Yes.
are,
Congrats.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, Aspen is
You
7
both look
months old.
great, so I don't even know the age. We don't talk about that. You both look great. Okay.
She's a joy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So taking time out to communicate. Will you guys say that you each other are your best friends?
I would.
I would say so. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a loner probably. That's the way I would classify myself. So. She is definitely my best friend.
And he's not as much of a loner as he thinks he is.
Yeah.
He calls himself an introvert, but he
I-
is so outgoing.
I'm definitely an introvert.
You're not. He's not.
And you're an extrovert, I guess.
I
And
guess.
Opposites do attract. They say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Opposites attract.
Yeah.
So this way, your strength might bring up his weaknesses and opposites. You know, it's really good. Now, do you guys do anything that you do together, traditions in the family that help keep your family strong or keep your marriage strong?
Tradition.
Yeah, or Christmas Eve.
Yeah, we try to do the holidays together, and we do a Christmas Eve gathering every year at our house, and I mean, try to do some special things like that. Food-wise, we used to do a crab fest every year at Christmas Eve, and so I mean, yeah, there's things that we try to do as a family, and I think I would say, pretty tight knit as a family. We stay pretty close together with my brother-in-law and my sisters and so forth. So.
And does that help with the marriage, like extended families, that bond too?
It does.
It does, and my sister and my brother-in-law, they got a great marriage, and they're two people that can turn a disagreement into a comedy act almost, really, you know, by the time they get done joking over it. So they have a way of keeping it loose. So we enjoy hanging out with them, and we do spend quite a bit of time with them, vacation with them, and so forth. So.
Okay.
And this isn't like a tradition, but a year ago, we actually started working out together.
Oh,
We
okay.
started running, we'd go to the track, and then we would push each other a little bit. He would start running before me,
Okay.
but I'm competitive, so it would get to the point where he would almost lap me, and I'm like, I guess I'm gonna have to run. So then I would run too. But yeah, we run, well, we haven't the past month, but we usually run at least 4 miles, walk at least 4 or 5 times a week together.
So that's spending time together
Yeah,
keeps the bondage there too.
Yeah.
The bond.
Yes.
Now, are you the traditional type, Mark, that will bring her flowers or special gifts? And she's shaking her head no.
But it's a great idea.
Her love language is jewelry,
It used to be.
and that's what I've I've learned over the years is I probably give her more of the big gifts, but not as often. So it's like the new ring.
Well, it's good you mentioned this.
Yeah.
You guys learned each other's love language.
Yeah.
Gary Chapman, he came up with the love languages.
Yes.
Okay. So yours is gifts, and do you know Mark's?
His is touch.
Okay. Good. No, we're supposed to know each other's
Yeah.
love languages.
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
Sure.
Because a lot of people think, well, my love language is gifts, but I'll give my wife gifts. But if it's not hers that she wants,
Yeah.
then you're not actually knowing your wife at all.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? So, now with your previous marriages, did you learn anything about yourself not to do with the next marriage, or like to have more patience, or more loving, or touch more than not, or give more gifts than not? Did you learn anything from that with this wife that you consciously made aware of that you should actually make sure this one is done differently? You know
Yeah,
what I'm getting at?
not drink as much.
Nice.
Well, I was thinking more like sweep and clean up.
I didn't think you were probably going in that direction, but I just thought I'd mention that.
Oh my goodness.
But well, and that whole lifestyle is so self-centered. So we really are pretty close. I mean, and so my focus is really on her. So I would say that without a doubt, I've pursued a lot of things in life. I mean, sports. You know how men are. We've got our passions, but
Wait, just a minute. I look my sports. I'm not ice hockey.
that's true. But I mean, as men, we tend to be a little more self-centered, I
Yeah.
think, than a woman's more giving, but she's really has been my focus. I think more than anything in the past in my other marriages. So
And Rhonda?
I think I just learned probably to be nicer. I have a tendency to explode, when something happens, and maybe, maybe kind of let it kind of rest first, and then, think about it, ponder it, and then if you need to get mad, get mad.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I've been there.
it's easy.
I know. I like, for me with my third marriage, I know I have to be calmer, more patient, I'm loving, but it's like I have to make sure things that I may say might offend him because he's been in a previous marriage. And a lot of us bring on a lot of the pain and hurt from our marriage.
absolutely.
And even for me to realize he's not my other husband. He's not my ex's. And that was difficult. Was that difficult for you guys also?
It was. I came into the marriage with crazy trust issues. So when Mark would leave and I wouldn't know where he was, and he would be gone for even an hour, my mind is thinking, where's he at? What's he doing? Who's he with? But I know that he would never, ever be unfaithful. So I had to really work through that. He's not that type of personality. So I just had to take a step back and relearn my behaviors.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And you, Mark?
Well, I realized that she had a real weakness with that. So I tried not to, if I was going to leave, I tried to at least let her know that, you know, I was where I was supposed to be. And if I was just leaving, I was just leaving just to, you know, clear a head and just, you know, and come back. And so because I realized that was a real weakness with her that, you know, she had experienced in a prior marriage. So I tried not to, you know, we all get mad and things like that, but I knew that if I disappeared for a long period of time, it would really play mind games with her, and I really wasn't interested in doing that.
So you made sure you focused on not hurting her where her hurt and pain was before.
Exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful and wonderful.
Mm.
Yes. Ah, I saw the cute little look at each other.
He's a good husband. I'm very blessed.
Yeah, me too.
So what top quality do you like in Mark?
He has a lot. I love his work ethic, and he just makes me feel secure. I think a lot of women look for security, but when I'm with him, I just feel safe and loved.
And loved. And that's a big key in marriage, definitely.
It is.
Security and love. We want to be protected. Yes. And Mark?
Well, she,
You're not supposed to
Find
pause.
one, right?
she, you know, she brings a lot to the table. I mean, she's got a tremendous work ethic. I mean, she is just the hardest working woman I know. And I mean, if you just turn her loose in our backyard, I mean, she just wearies me. I have to sit down, and I call them union breaks. I said, I'm taking a union break. And I have to sit down and just, because she just has endless energy. I mean, and so, I mean, her work ethic is just, you know, and it's something I relate to our kids is, you know, the only thing that we really have is a work ethic. Me and her have just always worked our whole life, you know. And so that's what I really admire about her is she just gets after it in life. And she's just a really positive person, you know, and, you know, she's just that sweet, you know, always, you know, bubbly type of a person. And she's a positive person to be around. So she's got so many great qualities. She really does.
Now, this is your second marriage and your
Yes.
third. Now, did you also see issues like, did your career change during that time? Was the marriage supportive? And how did you guys work through like possible career change? Did you guys have that during the time of your 21 years?
Yeah, I did not have a career change. I had actually moved up here to go to Olivet, but Nathan was 2, and so I was trying to work and go to school. I did it for 6 months, and it just was too much. I wasn't seeing him. His father was military, so he wasn't seeing him. So really, I decided to I found a job, stuck with it, and then I've done the same thing, but just at 3 different places of employment. And I've been at my last one for almost 19 years.
Okay.
So I have not had a change in employment.
And I've been at AT&T for 43 years, so.
So, you know,
Yeah.
So there was more security and stability in the
was.
marriage. So that was even perfect too.
Yes, yeah.
Because a lot of marriages, when you have to go through the changes of careers and things, they put extra stress.
Sure.
So you guys at least didn't have that
No.
extra stress. You know, just the daughter.
Yeah, just the daughter.
Now, what advice do you give to your children? That's one of the reasons why I'm doing the show on marriages. I want to be able to give advice to couples to have longevity in marriages. You know, you see all these young couples getting divorced. They say, well, 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Sure.
What is the key? Is it just communicating? I mean, it's also listening to God, because God gave you a great message. You know, what is the good key, a tip you would give someone?
I would say just don't ever throw the towel in.
Ah,
It's just not an option. I mean, when you're at number 3 like you and I are, I mean, you just can't give up. You know, I just feel that, you know, that's the key. Is just you got to keep working, and you got to keep working. And we had a couple that kind of mentored us a little bit, Niles and Regina Crum, And you know, he just kept reminding us that, you know, your kids are going to grow up. It will get better. You know, the pressures of kids it's immense. It really is.
Yeah.
So.
It is.
I know my husband and I are just thinking about having more kids, and it's like, yeah, you guys are like
Oh, my.
negative here, but that's
That's funny. We had a glimpse of the empty nest because for a while we did have an empty house. So we had a glimpse of this, and
How
it
was
was
it?
almost like the honeymoon phase all over again. And now that she's back, it's still good. But that would be my same advice: is don't give up, because you're going to have bad times, good times, bad times again, good times again, and eventually it'll all even keel out.
Look at that. Keep the honeymoon spark and everything else. Definitely.
And ours is. I mean, I'm telling you, we're just amazed at it. We really are. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, it's just like we're as passionate about it now as we were back then, and you just don't think that's possible. But when God's in it and He's in the middle of it,
Right.
it can be that amazing. Yeah.
Now, for you, you said you walked into church and you saw him. Was Mark someone you would have ordinarily date, or just God put that in your heart right away, that instant, he's for you, go get him?
I don't think I would have. I was at a Christmas parade, and a lady from the church who I went with, her daughter-in-law, she's like, I have this guy at church that I think you would really like, but he's going through a really bad divorce. And I was like, not interested. So I probably wouldn't have. I mean, I thought he was attractive, definitely, but probably knowing that he had gone through a really bad divorce, I probably would have shied away.
And God spoke up and
Yeah.
gave you a kick. Yeah, man, go get him.
He's for you.
Now, we know she was your type, so we don't have to ask you that one. But you're like, she was pretty and she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So you were all in when you noticed her.
Oh yeah, I was definitely interested, and you know, in having the family, right? You know, she had a son, and for some people maybe that wouldn't be what they would want, but for me it was the missing part of my life, is I never had the family. So, yeah.
You made a family, right? And now you have the 2 kids and a grandchild.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys, and I noticed you guys go fishing, do you guys go on vacations a lot? Did you guys able to do that when you have kids? Do you take time out just for yourself, date night?
Well, I feel like we have date night a lot now. It's just the 2 of us.
Empty nesters.
But we took vacations to Disney a couple times with the kids. You know, quick vacations, or not vacations, but, you know, Six Flags, water parks. We did with the kids.
Yeah.
What about for you guys? I mean, I know it's like the honeymoon phase again. Are you bonding more over like vacations? And you said you're running. Are you taking up sports? Like my husband and I joined this bowling league. Never bowled before in my life, but I was like taking the interest. Are there joint interests that you guys are doing too, besides the running?
Well, we got to the fishing thing, and we are vacationing more, and you know, we have you know, our budget has gotten a little bit larger now, so and we've got the time now, so yeah, we're doing a lot more together, I think, than we ever done in the past. Yeah.
Great. And I thank you for coming on the show. Thank you very much for coming on the show, talking about marriage. So I learned definitely communicate, talk, massage some calves, and feet.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on the show and watching, please. This is YY Night with Janice. You can watch us on YouTube and Facebook. We're on Wednesday nights, Comcast Channel 19, 6:30 p.m. If you have any suggestions or comments, please write us. Thank you very much and have a nice evening. Good night.
Bye.